it's a traditional thing. It's not proven by science, therefore I'm not gonna believe it.
This one is for the skeptics of any kind of non-modern healing methodologies. So if you're a skeptic, please watch this one.
Why rob yourself the possibility that there might be something to it? Power spots, biogeometry. There's nothing you can lose with it. Have you ever had that experience when you have a desk and you clean up your desk and then it feels really good to sit and work or study at your desk? I had that plenty of times in my life. What you experience is one of the proof that an idea like Feng Shui, for example, it's somewhat valid. Feng Shui basically balances out objects in a particular order and creates a system. You don't need to believe in Feng Shui. You can relate to the idea simply by understanding how does it feel when you organize your desk? How does it feel when you organize your computer? Because those are all energetic healings, basically. Creates out of a mess some level of order. And that is what energy medicine, in many regards, try to do. In places like India, South America, Egypt, in some traditional corners of the world, they beautifully preserved some of that ancient wisdom that we in the Western world kind of lost. There are unbroken traditions, and those unbroken traditions hold secrets which we, even in the modern world, can benefit from. And biogeometry is one of those magic things. Have you ever been in any kind of place on the planet where you felt like there is a level of energy that you really enjoyed? It was comforting, beautiful, soothing. Well, I've been to many places like that. But I wanted to discover some places around where I live, since not practical to try to go to Egyptian pyramids or the Taj Mahal on a regular basis. How can you discover those places? Well, as a human being today in the Western world, we are desensitized. That means we're not very sensitive to the energies that surrounds us. Einstein, over 100 years ago, said, if you want to understand the world, you need to think frequency, vibration, and energy. Even today, 100 years later, most people ignore in their lives. Indeed, when I tell someone, hey, pay attention to the vibration of the place or the energy, they're looking at me like, what drugs are you on? I'm not on any kind of drugs. I worked really hard on myself to resensitize myself. And as I became more and more sensitive, I started to be aware of certain places that created more comfort in me, more balance in me. Those areas oftentimes visited by animals, because animals are more sensitive, especially wild animals, to energies. So this is one of the spots where I'm standing right now. I always see deer footprints, rabbit footprints, all kinds of animals visit this site. There is an energetic vortex that takes place here. So when I come here, I feel re-energized. A cougar at one point discovered this spot as well and felt quite comfortable here and left a giant poop. During my healing period, I used biogeometry as one of the tools. Biogeometry essentially takes the ancient wisdom from Egypt and brought it to our modern world. This ancient wisdom used physical shapes which help your system to connect to the balancing forces of the planet. It connects you to Mother Earth in a balancing format. It's not that it's healing you, it is just connecting you to the planet. The connection is reestablished, therefore you can heal yourself. What's the difference between an ancient man versus a modern man? We are desensitized from energetic properties. When you live your life in nature and when you reconnect to nature, you can easily experience that. Whenever I spend a week out in nature, I'm much more sensitive to noise, much more sensitive to smell, and every single 5 sensory mechanism is rekindled. But there's also something else. There's a sense of groundedness. that you feel when you're out in nature. Ancient men who lived and conducted their entire life in nature, they were much more sensitive. So they were able to find those energetic spots much easier than we can find them today. Those places you can test out and try out, and you might discover that even in your own garden or in the forest around your house or in a park, you find some spots that you can sit and stay there, meditate, just relax, read a book, and while you're doing that, you get some extra recharge in comparison to the other places where you usually do the same activities. I used a more structured format of that, using BioGeometry to create a connection between me and planet Earth. And not just planet Earth, but the entire universe. When you're sensitive enough, you understand, I just feel more balanced. And when you feel more balanced, you can heal yourself better. If you just take that medically proven placebo effect, you take traditional wisdoms which survived thousands of years of trial and error, and you actually remove your personal judgment and you tell yourself, you know what, if this tool stuck around for thousands of years and there's a placebo effect, why don't I just believe it? Maybe there's actually something to it, and together those two things will help you to heal yourself. It will help you to succeed more in life, to be more balanced, to have a better time. Why not do that? Why are people in their own way? What I'm interested about, connecting tradition and bridging it with science and create another little bridge to practicality. I'm not into things for the sake of kumbaya ideas. But I remember earlier in my career, 30 years ago, whenever I thought about chakras or I tried to research chakras, you could not find anything about it. But now, since 2006, there has been overwhelming medical proof that there is something about chakras. The first 15 years of my career, I benefited just simply believing in it. And then since it became more accepted by medical science, people are buying into that easier. It was much more difficult to convince people prior, even though it was just as effective. So bridging practicality with science and practicality with traditional tools is something that's very exciting. There is a drone above me, which is kind of frightening. Not very traditional. It's more frightening because it's ultra modern. Okay, they're gone. I guess I'm safe. And when you find an energetic spot like that, you don't need to do much. You just need to be there. Every thought comes easier to your mind. Every solution comes easier to any problems. Yes, I'm not the only one who discovered this. This giant cactus discovered it a long time ago and decided to grow in this energetic spot. Well, I guess I'm not alone.